Good pass.
Very nice. Good to see you, Davani.
Papua New Guinea, good evening and welcome to Football First. And as you can see,
we got a ball.
We have a ball. Exciting times.
Exciting time.
And not just about the ball. In fact, coming up at the end of the year, a massive milestone. In fact, let's just tell the country what's actually happening.
Okay, we got
Marco, the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Papua New Guinea has 200 days left to go until November.
Sounds like a long time, but it's not a long time, guys. It's going to come very, very quickly.
200 days just around the corner.
Yeah.
Marco, speaking of something that happened very recently, Auckland City taking out a 6th consecutive OFC Champions League title.
Well, I would have liked Wellington to give it a bit of a better, different ride, to the game. There was really one team only, as far as we've seen. But it's been a good championship. I think it was interesting to see Papua New Guinea's team performing at that sort of stage. And it's a good experience. Unfortunately, both teams came back earlier on. Perhaps they could have done even better. But I think what we can take out of it is that Papua New Guinea left the tournament in a way winning it as well, because they demonstrated really that they can play at that level with no fear, and that's really has a lot to say about what's happening in Papua New Guinea when it comes to football.
Well, for those of you that missed out over the weekend watching that memorable final between Auckland and Wellington, let's just take a look at some of the highlights from that match.
And the 39th time these two clubs have met since 2004. And they've played in 5 cup finals, with Auckland winning 3 of those. Team Wellington have won 2. The less talked about ASB Charity Cup has seen...
Having wrestled the ASB Premiership title from out of Auckland's grasp at the same ground in March, Wellington were looking for a similar outcome, but instead had to settle for a repeat of the defeat they suffered in last year's OFC Champions League final to the same opponents.
Fred, these sorts of games used to get you going, I'm sure, as a player.
Oh, absolutely. You can't get up for a final like this. Then,
The men from the capital never really got going, and their afternoon of misery was added to when former Auckland midfielder Alex Fenneridis was dismissed late on for a rash challenge on City fullback Takuya Iwata. To have any hope of upsetting the 8-time champions, Wellington needed to frustrate Auckland for as long as possible and disrupt their passing game. But those tactics went out the window straight away when City struck in the opening minute.
That he has looked a little shaky at times.
Here is Lea Lapa on a solo run, the Solomon Islander. Oh, he scores! Auckland City are in front, and we've had just over a minute. Mika Lea Lapa, the futsal international with the Solomon Islands.
Wellington goalkeeper Scott Basala got a hand to that effort, but was left clutching at air when Lea Lapa again made a nuisance of himself and picked out a cross to João Moreira.
To pick out Lea Lapa, taking on Fergus Neal. Oh, and it's in the crossbar from Moreira's shot.
That meant the halftime score was only 1-0, but Auckland must have wondered how they failed to increase their advantage after completely dominating proceedings. In contrast to the tight and even action of most finals, the Navy Blues had enjoyed 75% of possession and fired 11 shots towards goal, while Wellington were yet to muster a single effort.
Those stats say it all. They've got 2 yellow cards against the 2 sort of guys.
Matt Calcott's side therefore needed to improve in the second half to keep their hopes of reaching Japan alive, but instead continued to struggle to make an impact on the game. And it was always likely to be Auckland that scored next.
For Scott Basile.
When the goal did finally arrive in the 67th minute, there was again a touch of class about it, and it was that man, Lea Lapa, who sparked it once more.
I think finally that's doubled our shot statistics.
Well, here's Lea Lapa. He might look to add more pain and a chance. That Clayton Lewis will not pass up. Auckland City 2-0.
Wellington now had to produce something truly special to turn things around. It never looked like doing so as Auckland goalkeeper Diego Rivas was left largely untested.
Think back to some of these Auckland City sides.
The task was made even harder in the 83rd minute when Fenneridis received his marching orders, and the final nail was driven into the coffin just a moment later.
They have to just calm themselves down, make sure they see the end of the match as well.
Lealafa, that's a great ball to the far post. João Moreira miscues. Lealafa doesn't. That seals it. Surely now Auckland are going to Japan. Mika Lealafa's running up the tunnel. Let's get some post-match reaction. Well, there's a delay, but the joy is theirs. Auckland City, 6 in a row.
And congratulations there to Auckland City, taking out that 6th consecutive title, and they'll now be representing the OFC region at the
in Japan.
Yep,
yes,
in Japan. Now, joining us here in the studio to talk about that performance by Auckland City is a former Auckland City player himself, Reginald Davani.
Evening, guys.
Good evening, Reginald.
Well, thank you and welcome to Football First. Reg, your first thoughts when they took out the title over the weekend?
Look, it was. I thought for me it was a professional performance from them. I thought they just did everything, the little things right, on the day when it mattered the most. And 3-0, I thought it was a bit flattering, bit of a big scoreline, but you know, the club, everyone's happy down at the club, so it's another title for them. Yeah, happy.
What was it like playing with such a big club like Auckland City?
Yeah, look, it was a good time. We won titles. It was a good management, great club. It still is a great club. Very professional at the club, but out of all the success and everything that's happening, the glamour with the club, it's still a very family-oriented club. Everyone gets along well. The players get along with the supporters, the kids, the families that are involved. It's a homely club as well.
No, I was wondering what you think is going to happen next, because now they're moving, to another level. They're going to Japan. They're going to meet some serious team from all over the world, and I'm wondering, like, when you're thinking about football in the Pacific, aside PNG, just let's say the Pacific, and then you compare it to football, in other parts of the world, there's still a lot of ground, still a lot to do, you think?
There's definitely still a lot of ground to cover, but that's also a lot of potential still to be untapped. So in the Pacific, there's so much talent. PNG, no different. I'm going to be a bit biased with PNG players because I think we have the full. I think we have the full package as a player, as an athlete.
Right.
I think we've got the skill and that technique, the talent. I think we mix it up as well with the physical side of things.
But something is still missing, no?
Still, there's a little bit. We're still very raw. I think it's just the finer tune. It's that the diamond in the rough, and you still have to shine it off a bit and things like that. It's.
You think it's more like in terms of mentality, or is it more tactical, technical? What do you think is missing at the moment?
I think it's across the whole board. I think from a technical point of view, we still need to develop our players better from a young age. From a technical, the other side of it as well, our coaches need more development to filter down, not just at the league, but just filter down to the grassroots level. So we're tapping into our coaches there, our clubs at that level.
Now, Reginald, you mentioned about the diamond in the rough, and of course, Reg, you'll be joining us after the break as we also take a look at the performances again of both Hekari United Football Club and PNG champions, City Dwellers. Welcome back to Football First. For those that have just joined us, we have here former PNG striker and also assistant national coach. Is that correct, Reggie?
Yes, these days, coaching.
Coaching, yeah. And that's a difficult transition, no? From player to coach.
Yeah, I'm finding it a bit hard to let go from playing, but but it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's something that I've always wanted to do. It's just come a little bit earlier than I thought, but you take the challenge on. And
now, a lot of the players that you coached that you have assisted alongside Flemming Serritslev did of course take part in the OFC Champions League for both City Dwellers and Hekari United. How did you gauge their performance?
Look, I thought they all did well. Hekari, I thought for me were the best footballing side. I thought by far the best footballing side. Lay showed good character, considering it was their first time. And the players, in general, I thought they all stood up, and they gave a good showing for Papua New Guinea football. You know, we still have a few more things to do, but at least, you know, they put on a good show for us, for the supporters back here.
They did.
Do you think both teams left a mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually impressed even with Lacey, the way they came back. You know, at the end of the day, they didn't win a single game, but the way they came back, they really fought until the last goal at the end, and that really shows character. But they showed us that also during the tournament. You know, this is a team that never, it's never down. You know, they always come back. You know, and they were able to do that. That's why they won the championship here, because they have tremendous character. I think that's something probably that Hekari should learn from them in a sense, because I do believe that Hekari probably is the better team at the end of the day.
There is a difference, however, between playing at the NSL level and then, of course, at the you know, on the international stage, right? In terms of, say, for example, some mistakes that can easily be forgiven here. At your BCD, at your SIK,
Yes.
not necessarily at OFC level.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at the Hekari Wellington game, 3 goals from set pieces. You know, that shouldn't be happening. You know, the marking from the corners was you know, it's schoolboys marking. You know, but you know, the little things like the Wellington made the most of those set pieces. You know, because they knew that Hekari are a good footballing side. When it comes to those set pieces, the delivery is very good. The movement in the box is very good. You know, but it also, they helped them a bit because they didn't defend as well. So, but little things like that, at that level, those are the things that count.
It makes a difference.
What about the performances of City Dwellers in terms of defense? Because that final game they played, they could have won, they could even have beaten Auckland City.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely, I think, again, it's the small things, the positioning of players. Lay created a lot of good chances, and I thought, you know, it showed in the last game they scored 4 goals. I thought they could have scored a lot more leading into that game as well, but just the little things in how they defend as well, I think let them down as well. Against Auckland City, I thought they set too far back at times. I thought they were very organised, but I think when you play teams like that, you need to sometimes get into their face a little bit and put them under pressure. So be positive in that defend, not just sit back and wait for something to happen. Be a bit more positive in defending too.
Now, currently you're working with Flemming, Serritslev, the men's national coach. Marco, he said that after the OFC Champions League,
What we're seeing, yeah.
Papua New Guinea has nothing to fear from anyone in the Pacific.
I agree.
I believe so. You know, it's this generation of players that we have. When the National League started, they were all in the early 20s. They were all young players coming through. Through that time, international games, playing OFC club level. They're hitting their peak now. I think it's a very good group that we have now, talent-wise. And you saw it at the O League, the Champions League. There's a lot of positives that came out from it. And
yeah, I'm also wondering, because now you're a coach, so when whatever you're trying to teach, you know, these players, according to your experience, you have an international experience, not only in PNG, but also in New Zealand. What style of football you think Papua New Guineans should play? Should be more like the physical game? It should be the vertical games that is known in England to play? Or it should be the tiki-taka or the Spanish, you know, should be a combination? I'm still struggling sometimes to understand what is the flavor of football in the Pacific. You know, I do see glances, you know, brilliance sometimes, but it's hard to package it. You know, like if you think of South America, Brazil, you immediately think of a style of football, or Italy, you know, but Pacific and PNG, I think it's undefined yet, you know. So are you trying to impose also like a style of football in a way?
I think it's a very good question. It's something that I've had many discussions with other people as well. And if you've got some coffee, we can talk all night, but we don't.
We have coffee.
But I think the style we need to play is a style that complements us as people. So I think we like to play an attacking style of football.
That's in your genetics.
It's in our genetics, yes. We like to express ourselves, we like to attack. And then I think with that we need to complement our physical attributes. So we're good athletes, we're good athletes. We have that physical presence as well. We can mix it with the bigger players. Doesn't matter how big they are, we can still challenge if we really want to. And
see, it's very interesting you're saying that. I'm Italian. The first thing we think is we need to defend well.
Yeah.
You say just the opposite. We need to attack.
We need to attack. I think we need to attack.
I think that's really very nice what you're saying. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, we have to attack. I think we need to believe in us. We have to be positive. Okay, that's one thing that now what we're trying to impose now with the team is we're not the small team. You know, we're the biggest country in the Pacific, and we have to stand up. We have to be positive in how we play football, and when it doesn't matter who we play to win.
I like that.
Because you have to admit, considering the fact that Lake City Dwellers took on the best in the best now in the Pacific, and Hekari themselves dominated all three of the matches that they had, and the majority of this current training squad does come from both clubs.
Yes. Yeah.
So, if we were to take on, say, the teams from Fiji, the teams from New Caledonia, the teams from Vanuatu, we should still be able to impose ourselves on those teams in terms of the Nations Cup.
Yeah, look, we need to, from what we saw in the Champions League, we need to build on that, continue building on from that. We've got no reason to fear anyone. To be honest, I don't want to sound
bombastic,
crazy or anything like that, but I don't think we should fear anyone.
I think it's good to sound bombastic. I think you're right. I mean, this is the biggest country in the Pacific. Yeah. You're starting to you have good infrastructure now, and I think it's time for Papua New Guinea to step up its game. And
we have to step up. We have to be positive. Of course, everything you have to work hard for it. And nothing comes easy. So, you know, that is something that we mustn't just relax after good performances from our two PNG teams. We need to continue to improve.
Yeah.
Now the team does assemble over the next couple of days in preparation to travel for friendlies in Korea.
Yes. So we're looking to get the boys in towards the end of the week and stay together for about a week, and then we head off to Korea for a few games, 2 or 3 games in Korea, and we get back just over a week before the first game against New Caledonia.
I think that will be very important. I think international exposure is super important before any tournaments, I think, because you need to breathe different air, see in different stadiums, you know, get different atmospheres, different style and way of playing football. You bring back home that experience. I think it's super important that you do that. So the more the better, really. Yeah. And the stronger the team is, the better.
Exactly.
In a friendly,
that exposure is very important, yes.
Yeah. Well, for the members of the PNG men's national team, we wish you all the best in terms of your preparations for your friendlies, which will be held over at the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, if I'm correct, geographically and politically speaking. Join us after the break as we continue to talk about the PNG men, footballers, and also one particular player in particular, and that is Raymond Gunemba. See you soon. I actually believe they gave us a ball.
It's so shiny, we shouldn't even touch it. Huh? You're right.
Welcome back to Football First.
All right then.
Reginald, we've decided to stand this time. Who would you have rated out of both teams, perhaps? And we're talking about Hekari and Lake City's performance over at the OFC Champions League. Best player?
Oh,
yeah,
that's a tough one. I don't want to sound too biased. I'm going to be diplomatic and say that I thought they all played well. I thought they all played well, to be honest. And I'm just impressed with some of the lay players who, you know, first time on that stage, and you know, you could tell they're a bit nervous, but once they settled in, it's no problem. You know?
Did you feel they gave a little bit too much respect, especially in the first game that Lake City played?
Well, maybe that was a sort of icebreaker. You know, that was a tough game for them, and they got crushed in the first game. But again, they came back, so that was quite interesting. If you ask me the same question, I was quite impressed with Tommy Semi, the way he actually played. He performed. You know, I mean, we know him. He's an excellent player. But again, that stage, he also showed that his skills, his technical skills and his physical skills are relevant just about anywhere in the world. It's not only in PNG. So that really says a lot about this player, I think.
Tommy Semi did, of course, score, I think it was 2 goals in the tournament. Yeah. But I have to be honest, one player that really did impress me was Raymond. Yes. Remember, the captain for both Lake City, and he was named captain when you guys travelled over to the Solomon Islands.
Yes. Oh, look, Raymond's been around for a while, and he's still got that natural goal scoring instinct. For me, he's a natural goal scorer. He's someone that he knows where the goal is. He can score goals.
Okay, but Reggie, but what about the gloves? What was that all
the
about?
Gloves, yeah. Michael Jackson.
What the Michael Jackson thing? Can you explain it?
Raymond, he doesn't like the cold, so anything under 20 degrees, 25 degrees, forget it. He doesn't like it.
Well, Raymond, that just came from Reginald Davani. I hope you buy him some gloves when you come back down from Ley. Speaking of Raymond Gunemba, let's just take a look at what he had to say about his experiences at the OFC Champions League for the year 2016. The OFC Champions League has undoubtedly brought out and tested the character of one of Papua New Guinea's most enigmatic strikers in recent years. As captain of both club and country, Raymond Gunemba has been instrumental in the success of his home team, the Lake City Dwellers, as they won back-to-back finals in the Telecom National Soccer League.
He takes a shot.
Debuting in the OFC Champions League in the year 2016 gave the veteran striker yet another opportunity to feature at the highest club competition in the region after having had previous experience with Hekari United. Whilst Lake City failed to come away with a single point after 3 matches, Gunemba has stated that the experience has proved invaluable for him and his teammates.
Also, mi plago experience finish so come again and team mi plan need lo stay together na also look forward lo all next is NSL season plus if mi plan qualify again for league it's a big plan credit lo team, so I think mi plan need lo improve lo all one lo so I mean all boys I'm need lo keep him this la same team lo continue on lo this la next season lo mi plan NSL if possible na mi plan qualify lo league I think this time mi plan go working presence lo bla I think we gonna do best lo whole league season, but lo team big plan credit straight lo all boys.
When commenting on the goal he scored against now reigning champions Auckland FC, Raymond added a touch of humor about it.
With the goal, like me feeling it's a blessing from God. It's especially like New Zealand. I'm minus and misses every time we play against New Zealand team. I always score a goal against them, so it's not new to me. But yeah, like goal and me score I'm big black. I'm a straight cause. Like first time team me go down Lake City Dwellers, first time on them, but to score against a defending champion, current champion, it's a very awesome big player. I'm a straight. Lo this la goal lo me, but after all let me to thank you lo God lo, give me this la goal.
Were you expecting to score?
Yeah, not really, but was situation lo game.
And that has also impressed national coach Flemming Serritslev, who only a fortnight before had rewarded Gunemba with yet another honor, the captaincy of the country.
He's a player with special abilities. He's a very good dribbler. You could say he has a magic left foot, and he has been doing very well for Ley this season in the championships, and actually one of the reasons that Ley was able to win the big championship here in Port Moresby.
You named him captain?
I named him captain in Solomon Islands. It's like this, that normally David Muthab would be our captain, and he also joined us on the trip, but as you know, he was injured and didn't play one single minute. So in his place, Raymond took the captain's duty, and I have to say he did very well also for us as a captain.
The future looks bright for Gunemba, who will also feature heavily for the country in the upcoming OFC Nations Cup to be held here in Papua New Guinea in May. And we wish Raymond and the rest of the teammates as you guys will be preparing for the friendlies that are coming up in Korea. Now, next week's episode of Football First, Reginald, what are you doing? Come and join us. Well, actually join Marco. I'll just be mucking around nearby. Futsal.
This was a trap tonight. You actually came here to be hired
Signed
to play,
up.
Signed up essentially.
I'm looking for a midfielder.
Come in.
I'm looking for a midfielder to come and join.
He didn't really mean it, but he will be.
But actually, in actual fact, next week's episode of Football First, you will see both Marco and I, and Reginald, and a few other people in shorts. I think Marco looks better in shorts than I do.
This guy's gonna try to score against me, which is gonna be an impossibility.
Hands and stuff. Thank you very much. We will see you next week, same time, same place on your number one. Good night.
Thank you for watching.
Yo, this is a headliner from Arrested Development, and right now you're in the midst of a